Hello and welcome to the AFL season information and off-season news weekend wrap. My name is Nick. Unfortunately, Josh can't join me this evening, but he'll certainly be back for the podcast on Thursday night. It's been a brilliant round of footy, so let's get right into it. The first game of the round was on Friday night at Etihad Stadium, where Hawthorn defeated Essendon by a whopping 56 points. For the Bombers, Hurley kicked 3 goals and Bellchambers kicked 2, while Hibberd had 26 disposals, Heppel and Melksham had 25 apiece, and Goddard had 24. For the Hawks, Franklin kicked a lazy 8 goals, Roughead kicked 4, while Bruce, Gunston, Lewis and Piopolo all kicked 2. Sam Mitchell had 31 disposals, Hodge had 30, Guerra had 27, and Gibson and Sewell both had 25. Next up was on Saturday afternoon at Metricon Stadium, where Carlton kept their finals hopes alive with a 43-point win over the Gold Coast Suns. For the Suns, Aaron Hall, Charlie Dixon and Sam Day each kicked 2 goals, while Gary Ablett had 32 disposals, Jaeger O'Meara had 23, Matt Shaw had 22 and Jared Harbrow had 20. For the Blues, Lockie Henderson booted 4 goals, Betts kicked 3, while McLean, Armfield and Yaron each kicked 2. Heath Scotland led the way with 32 disposals, Simpson had 28, while McLean and Murphy both had 27. The next game was North Melbourne up against Melbourne at Etihad Stadium, where the Roos belted the Demons by 122 points. For the Demons, Burns, Dawes, Fitzpatrick and Tapscott were the only goal scorers, while Nathan Jones collected 24 disposals, McDonald 22 and Colin Sylvia had 21. For the Roos, Black and Bastonak kicked 4 goals each, while Cunnington, Mullett, Adams, Wells, Goldstein and Petrie each kicked 2. Brent Harvey had 35 touches, Cunnington 34, Gibson 28 and Lockie Hansen and Jamie McMillan each had 26. Next up was Collingwood vs GWS at the MCG, where the Pies won by 40 points after being challenged by the Giants. For the Pies, Swan, Sidebottom and Cloak each kicked 3 goals, while Ben Reid kicked 2. Dane Swart had a game-high 39 disposals, Beams 37, Sidebottom 31 and Heath Shaw 27. For the Giants, Jeremy Cameron was the only multiple goal scorer, kicking an amazing 7 goals. Kellen Ward had 32 disposals, Hampton 31, while Shield, Traylor and Green each had 26. The next game was last night at Simmons Stadium, where the Mighty Cats belted St Kilda by 101 points. For Geelong, Tom Hawkins kicked 5 goals, Motlop kicked 4, Joel Selwood 3, while Steve Johnson, James Podsiadly and Travis Varco each kicked 2. Selwood had 32 disposals, Johnson and Motlop each had 29 and Mitch Duncan had 27. Nick Riewoldt and Tom Lee were the only multiple goal kickers for the Saints with 2 each, while Jack Steven had 36 disposals, Montague 24, Jones 27 and Del Santo 25. The other game last night was Fremantle against Adelaide at Patterson Stadium, where the Dockers took the win by 22 points. Fife kicked 4 for the Dockers, with Main and Walters each kicking 2. Fife had 29 disposals, Hill 27, with Neil and Barlow each picking up 26. For the Crows, Lynch the only multiple goal kicker with 2, Sloane had 30 touches, Brad Crouch 28, Vince 25 and Henderson 23. Moving on to the Sunday games now, first up is Port Adelaide vs Brisbane, with the Power coming away with a hard-fought 9-point victory. Schultz kicked 2 for the Power, Boak had 27 disposals, Hartlett 26, Moore 25 and Wingard who kicked the match-winning goal with 22. For the Lions, Zorko and Brown each kicked 2 goals, with Rockcliffe had 28 disposals, Redden 24, Golby 22 and Berwick had 20. The second last game of the round was at Etihad Stadium, where the Bulldogs upset the Eagles by 22 points. Dalhouse kicked 4 goals for the Dogs, Dixon and Grant each had 3, while Addison booted 2. Griffin and Cooney finished with 30 disposals each, while Dalhouse, Liberatore and Murphy each collected 29. For the Eagles, Kennedy and Hill each kicked 3 goals, while Wellingham, Cripps and Darling all kicked 2. Gaff had 31 disposals, Prittis 27 and Hutchings and Dalziel each had 26. The last game of the round was at the SCG between Sydney and Richmond. Now, Josh called me crazy, and Tiger fans weren't too happy with me because in the podcast on Friday afternoon, I tipped the Swans by 46 points. Well, I'm feeling pretty smug now because the margin in the end was 47. For the Swans, Jesse White kicked 4, Tipper kicked 3, while Kieran Jack and Tom Mitchell each kicked 2. O'Keefe had 30 disposals, while Jack, Mitchell and Hanbury all had 26. For the Tigers, Riewoldt kicked 3 and Dustin Martin kicked 2. Cochin and Martin both had 30 disposals, Grigg had 26, while Hooley and Jackson had 22 each. Moving on to the ladder now, where Hawthorn still lead the way after their win over the Bombers. Geelong moved back into second position with their big win over the Saints. Sydney climbed to third after beating the Tigers, and Essendon dropped 2 spots down to fourth. Port Adelaide are hanging on to their position in the 8 after their win over Brisbane at home, but Carlton are hot on their heels in 9th spot after beating the Gold Coast. The bottom half now, with North Melbourne climbing to 10th spot, equal on points with West Coast, Adelaide and the Lions. The winless Giants remain on the bottom of the ladder after their loss to Collingwood. Now onto the Coleman medal, with Jared Ruffhead and Josh Kennedy sharing the lead with 54 goals each. Jeremy Cameron moves to equal third with his 7-goal haul, while Lance Franklin moves to 6th with his 8 goals against Essendon. Tom Hawkins the big mover with his 5 goals against the Saints, while Drew Petrie and Nick Riewoldt round out the top 10. And there you have it, the full wrap of all the Round 18 results. Be sure to follow us on Twitter if you haven't already, and look out for the preview of Round 19 on Friday afternoon, where I'll be joined by Josh as always, and a very special guest who a lot of you will know. Thanks for watching, see you next time.